From Montreal, this is the PartyPoker.net Charity Faceoff. Hello and welcome back to the PartyPoker.net Charity Faceoff here in Montreal, Canada. I'm Blake Price. Alongside me is Russ Amber from TSN, providing his colorful perspective on the play, I hope.
Well, not as colorful as these players that are at this semifinal table. The two top finishers, Blake, from each of the semifinal table will advance to the final table, and the top prize in this charity tournament, $20,000 to donate to the player's charity of choice for the winner.
We started with 16 from the National Hockey League Players Association testing their skills in Texas Hold'em, down to the final 8 now in semifinal play. 4 move on to the final, of course. At stake, some bragging rights, but a total of $100,000 in donations to the players' charities of choice, and as you mentioned, $20,000 to the winners' charity of choice. Let's meet the players.
And here's Mr. Serious, Donald Brashear of the Washington Capitals. This guy likes to keep the other players at the table off guard, and he certainly does that. An intimidating and imposing figure at the table, just like he is on the ice.
Bryan McCabe was a thinker in the opening round at seat number 2 from the Toronto Maple Leafs, the offensive defenseman. Perhaps we'll see some more offensive play at the poker table. He tries not to be too aggressive at the table, though, when he plays.
And in seat number 3 from the Buffalo Sabres, Blake, Tim Connolly. I think this guy's a hustler. This guy knows exactly what he's doing at the table. Smart, reads it right, and he enjoys the game of poker because he loves the adrenaline rush he gets when he's sat at the table. So watch out for this guy. He can play.
He might get an adrenaline rush just sitting next to George Laraque in seat number 4. Now with the Phoenix Coyotes, he says you need to be patient if you want to win. He had a great rivalry going with Tie Domi in his opening round matchup. Maybe fellow tough guy Donald Brashear across the table from him will be that foe for him here in the semifinal. The blind starting small as usual. We'll see what separates the men from the boys here. $250 for the small, $500 for the big, and as mentioned off the top, Tim Connolly, perhaps the guy to watch here at the table. For a guy with a history of concussion, pretty headsy play from him in the opening round.
You think we'll get to see Brashear smile at any time in this semifinal matchup?
Very stoic.
Is he ever?
In the quarters.
$250 more to you.
Does the phrase poker face apply here?
Indeed it does. Suited King 10 there for Bryan McCabe.
And a suited 10-9 for Brash.
200 more to you.
200 more?
Yeah. You put 3 in there,
So it's just 200 more?
Accidentally put 3.
Oh, okay. Sorry. What happened if I folded? Would I got 50 back?
Yes.
Okay.
A rare blip on the Connolly record there. See, gets his bet straight.
Laraque likes his ace, so he stayed in. He wants to see the flop.
Family hand. 6, 4, and 2 on the flop. So a low pair now for middle pair, to be exact, for George Laraque, but low in the grand scheme of things.
That is 600.
Don't call me, please. Let me just win one.
He's so nice, isn't he? And look, Brash is just mean. He's just waiting.
Down to Laraque and Connolly now. 4 of clubs on the turn.
2 pair. Right there.
3 for George Laraque now. Pretty tough to compete for Tim Connolly.
Raised to 3,000. It's 2,000 more to come.
Raise me?
Wow. Coming after you early. It's a little too early for that, isn't it?
Connolly looking at the cards on the table, thinking, high king.
Give it some drama for TV. All right, I fold.
He fold. Yeah, that's it. Smart player, Connolly.
Thank you for the drama, by the way. We appreciate it, Tim. George Laraque with the early win here.
Again, you see an example of Laraque playing the hand. You know, just playing what he had. He played the cards, live with them, die with them. He had 3 4s. He had to go with it, and he made the right move, forced Connolly to fold.
Connolly continuing his talkative nature here. A little quieter in the opening round, but chips are starting to move now. Downtown Montreal site of our tournament. The action will continue momentarily. You are watching the PartyPoker.net Charity Faceoff, brought to you by PartyPoker.net, the world's largest poker school, and with special thanks to the National Hockey League Players Association. Back back to Montreal for the PartyPoker.net Charity Faceoff. Just before the break, quite a bit of action. Tim Connolly has taken the position as chip leader. 56,150 for the Sabres forward. George Laraque, now of the Phoenix Coyotes, up over 53,000. Bryan McCabe of the Leafs, safe.
Only 16,000 in chips between the number 1 and number 4. And there's the blinds up 250 and 500 right now.
McCabe and Donald Brashear have established themselves as spectators throughout this tournament so far. A suited jack and 2.
Same as me.
Uninterested
And don't
is
steal
Donald
my life. I
Brashear.
know you don't have nothing, so I can tell already. I didn't look yet.
No, I actually have a good card. Just a bad kicker.
Fold.
Well,
It's 250 more to
you
go.
gotta play that, I think.
King 10.
I don't want to just
Conley.
win those 500, so I'm gonna call.
Option.
Maybe we'll build some type of pot here.
George Laraque is in with his 5 and 3.
Check your bet.
Is it a good flop for you?
A 4.
No, it wasn't
A
actually.
4 would make it a very good hand for George Laraque.
Oh, I'm gonna throw
In the
a
meantime,
feeler bet
Tim
out there,
Connolly.
500. It was a
That
good
is
flop for me.
500.
I'm not gonna lie. It's too early for me to be bluffing.
Why?
Want me to show you?
It's okay.
George won't wait for his 4. Tim Connolly takes that hand with his pair of 10s.
But I'm only gonna. Well, that was probably bad play, right? Maybe I should have checked.
I would have
Although
folded
you
it.
could
I would have
maybe-
folded anyway.
You might have got a 4 though.
Yeah.
The turn card was a 4. I would have lost another 2,000.
First time we've seen Tim Connolly question his game at all. He'd sort of been dictating it during the opening round.
500 to
He's
go.
smart. He's real smart. He's confident. He knows what to play.
Take a look
Knows
at
how to bet it.
Oh,
What's that? The
Got the
Doyle
Brunson.
Brunson right there? Folds it.
Fold. 250 more to call.
No action for Laraque either. Over to Brashear and McCabe.
cards at all? And then would they
raise.
or no?
Brashear serious. Very serious. Ace Jack for McCabe, so you know he's going to stay
It's
in.
15. It's 1,500 to go.
Make a table like this. My home is more fun.
Call.
Ace high, though, for McCabe. Advantage McCabe. But that changes on the flop.
Check your bet.
Pair of 5s for Brash.
1,000.
The bet is 1,000.
Outside chance of a straight there.
Does Brash feel good about it? Not bad. Reaches for the 1,000.
Call.
King of spades on the turn.
He
Still
checks it
riding
again.
his pair.
The bet is 1,000.
McCabe will
Now-
wait to see the river.
See, now Brash doesn't know. The king came down and the bet came from McCabe, so he stays with him. 4, it's going to hold
Another
up.
4.
It's going to hold up. Now McCabe
That's
trying to
1,000.
scare him off. Brash reaches right away and goes for it.
Got ace high.
And McCabe sheepishly turns his cards over to reveal not much. Donald Brashear, 2 5s, 2 4s.
Nice, Donald.
Nice little win
buddy.
indeed. Gets him a little bit closer to the chip leader right now. Tim Connolly of the Buffalo Sabres on top, despite the fact he wasn't in on that hand. And before the action began, he was backstage in the PartyPoker.net VIP Players Lounge chatting with actor and hockey fan Alicia Cuthbert on his love of the
You don't
game.
want those. You don't want those at the 2040 mark.
Yeah.
What's the difference between your hockey playing and your poker playing, or is it very similar?
It's kind of similar. I would say I usually start off a poker game playing a little bit conservative just to try and feel the table out, see what's going on, and then I get more aggressive as the game goes on. But in hockey, I think I kind of play the opposite. I'm really aggressive offensively in the games in the beginning, but if we get up by a goal or two, then I'm probably a little bit more conservative. Don't take as many chances as I normally would.
So what's the charity that you're giving your money to today?
I'm playing for the Children's Hospital in Syracuse, New York. That's my hometown where I'm from, and they're just building a new addition onto it, so they're trying to raise money for that. And whenever you can help out kids, it's definitely a good cause.
Stick around, lots more from the PartyPoker.net Charity Faceoff. Here's the charity Bryan McCabe is supporting in this tournament, the Canadian Relief Foundation. They send medical support to disaster zones worldwide. This, the newest addition, a fully mobile hospital. Lots more to come here. A minimum of $5,000 headed towards that charity, possibly $20,000 if Bryan McCabe can pull up his socks and get on top of the chipboard. Tim Connolly of the Buffalo Sabres there right now, just a hair ahead of George Laraque of the Phoenix Coyotes. Blinds are up again.
250 and 500, Blake. Laraque being his usual patient self. Connolly the hustler, being smart.
Call. 250 more call.
George Laraque in with his jack of diamonds, 10 of clubs.
Call. Option.
King high for Brashear, so he wants to see what's going to come down with that.
And a suited 9-3 for Bryan McCabe has him interested in the flop.
Checker bet.
Jack of hearts, queen of diamonds, 9 of spades. Only 1 diamond for McCabe there.
The bet is 2,000.
And 2 jacks now for George Laraque has him in front.
Fold. It's 2,000 to call.
McCabe folds the 9s.
Call.
So number 2.
Slow play it.
Brash needs a win. Praying for a king.
Gets the 8.
Checker bet.
Who's got the 5?
There's a straight there for Laraque.
The bet is 2,000.
Not that he needed it. His
Call.
jacks were holding up nicely anyway.
Then nothing to. Fuck.
Good insurance should the king show up, though.
There's the nickel.
George Laraque was in front end to end. You don't see George Laraque making many end-to-end actions, rushes in the NHL, but
4,000.
in this hand, he
And
certainly
that-
has.
Call.
See, that bet from Brashear was just a scare off, and it did not work. Did not work. Not even close. That was just a scare off. He tried. He knew he didn't have anything.
Straight.
Laraque didn't bite.
Seat 4.
Nice, Sam.
There's a smile from Brashear usually. You don't
a
see
nervous
that.
one. That
Yeah,
was a nervous one.
That's right.
Brash is in trouble.
Line's going up.
Good battle between the heavyweights there. You can bet that has revenge on the mind of Brash. If he has the chips to exact that revenge is another question.
And you heard them say blinds go up 500 and 1,000 now, Blake.
I'm going to wait. I'm not going to look.
1,000
Laraque's
call.
deuce 9. He doesn't like that.
1,000 to call. 500 more to call.
The glasses are on. Now back off one.
Changing strategies. Oh!
Uh-oh.
Pocket rockets for Bryan McCabe.
Jack 10. He'll stay with that.
And that doesn't mean 2 Henri Richards.
I was going to say that.
Checker bet.
2 Jack and 9.
Check.
Pair of jacks now for Tim Connolly, but obviously not enough to match what Bryan McCabe has.
But he
yet.
doesn't know that, so he's looking okay with the jacks. He's saying that's not bad. Let's see what else comes up.
Connolly should bide his time, probably, and right through to the river.
Forgot already.
Thinking he has high pair right now.
The bet is 1,000.
See, 1,000, not too much. He doesn't want to scare Connolly off.
8 of spades. No insurance for Tim Connolly.
How many piles does he take there?
It's 2,000.
Just 2.
Is that enough?
Does he get the extra 2 out of Connolly now? Maybe he thinks Connolly will try the raise. You wouldn't think with that kind of a bet that someone's holding pocket aces right there.
It's pretty early on. I'm just going to call.
Just a call. So he got the extra deuce out of him.
He did indeed the win for Bryan McCabe.
Yeah.
Just trying to get you. Nice hand,
We've
buddy.
seen the Rockets pay dividends so far in this tournament.
You heard McCabe. I was just trying to get you.
Is it 2 wins?
Ice me or something.
That was a good flop for me. Jack 9
See?
I know. it was nice to see a jack, and knowing I had pocket aces. I was waiting. I was trying to slow play jack.
I don't know. It's a little fishy, man.
Well,
It's all on the cards.
yeah,
Maybe
straight.
could have caught 2 of those or whatever.
But you heard Conley's response, though. It's too early. I'm just going to call you.
Well, he had a lot of chips. He could afford to see the cards. The struggle to be chip leader continues here. The PartyPoker.net charity faceoff from Montreal. You are watching the PartyPoker.net charity faceoff from downtown Montreal. Blake Price with you, Russ Amber alongside me as we watch the action unfold on the table. George Laraque now on top of the chipboard, 64,000 and change. Tim Connolly of the Buffalo Sabres, Bryan McCabe of the Leafs, and Donald Brashear of the Washington Capitals, who has been mired in the basement since this semifinal round began.
500,
I'm
1,000.
raising.
He's still with us.
He has one, a hand or two, but he needs more.
There's the blinds at 500 and 1,000 now.
He's back, boys. He's back. Watch out.
1,000, steady. Thank you.
Brash stays with a 7 deuce.
Let's go.
Call. 1,000 to call.
I'll just raise.
McCabe ace high right now.
Raise to 3,000.
Matched by Tim Connolly with the kicker to McCabe.
From now on.
Oh, wow, look
Wow.
at that. 3 aces come up.
Want to call?
Brash says thank you very much. And George Laraque's ace-queen is high right now. McCabe folds it as well, so now
That hurts.
the hustler, Tim Connolly, and Mr. Patient, George Laraque.
Check or bet.
4, jack, and 6 on the flop.
It's 2,000.
A pair of 4s for Tim Connolly, usurping the seemingly good draw there for George Laraque.
Look at the way Connolly handles his chips as well. You know this guy is at the table a lot.
I'm going to raise it.
He likes his ace-4.
Yeah, pocket kings.
Oh, yeah.
Pair of 4s there.
Raise at 5,000. 5,000 more to call.
Laraque knowing he has the potential for a very high pair if he can stick around to the river. See, a couple of more cards would be nice for George Laraque. Does he have the guts to stick around that long?
He's a gutsy guy. He's not going to be... Look at that. There he goes. Reaches for the green ones and calls it.
Nice. Just pause the day. Ooh, lovely flop for someone.
That's right.
Didn't really make that much of a difference. Obviously, 2 pair now for Tim Connolly. The rich get richer.
That is 3,000.
You think Conley's thinking that Laraque might have something with the jacks? Now his 4 doesn't seem as strong now with the jack sitting there. He's trying to get a read on Laraque. And
Call.
a lot of respect between these two guys, Blake.
We see another. But it's
There's
a
the
2 of
deuce.
spades.
All in.
It is Connolly's pot.
All in.
With no chance.
This early?
With virtually no
You missed your
chance.
flush draw.
Gutsy move by Laraque with the pot over 79,000. Does that chase Tim Connolly,
It's
who
so
has the
early.
better
I got a
hand?
lot of chips left
He
too. I
has
don't know if I'll
Connolly
risk it on
thinking
this
that
hand.
it's the jacks
I know
that
you
are
missed your flush
that he's
draw.
got 3 jacks.
Call it then.
Now he better be careful that he doesn't talk himself out of it. Remember in the previous
really
round we
did.
saw him talk Domi out of folding. But Conley's a smart guy.
And a rare bluff from George.
Yep.
There's no way if you had a jack you'd go all in. You know, you bet like 10,000 or something.
They have to keep you in
That's a
there,
good,
you know?
yeah. That's a good play to go all in right here. Because I'm not that strong.
Compliment.
I'll show you, regardless.
He's strong.
He's gonna show him. You see, he's Mr.
All right.
Honest. He's gonna
I'm
show
gonna let
him.
you win this one. Good hand. Good hand.
Wow.
Good hand.
Can you
Fold,
believe
yeah.
that? Tim Connolly,
Bluff.
with the upper hand,
I knew you had nothing.
said no thank you. George, honest George, there it
I only had
is.
a 4 though.
Oh, you only have 4?
Yeah, I had a pair of 4s.
Nice, would you?
Can I call out with a pair of 4s?
No.
I wouldn't risk all my chips on a pair of 4s.
Still early. It's still early, you know?
yeah. You want to go to Bell?
If it was later and I had more chips involved, I'd probably...
I think George might have talked Connolly into that. Speaking of which, here he is with Alicia Cuthbert in the PartyPoker.net
that's a
VIP
good
Players
bet.
Lounge.
That's a good play.
How about when you're playing hockey? Do you find yourself playing poker the same way? Do you have the same sort of style, or do you have to play differently in the game of poker?
No, hockey is totally different. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not a bluff player. I don't,
Right.
you know, obviously.
Yeah, yes, it
Totally different. So, no, it's totally two different things. You know, hockey is real. And poker, doesn't matter who you are. You know, you can bluff and win.
Yeah, that's interesting. What charity are you donating to today?
The Stolly Children in Edmonton.
That's great. And is that because of playing there, or was it something that you've been a part of for a long time?
Yeah, in Edmonton, there's tons of charity that I've been part of, and Solid Children is obviously the most important one because there's children that are mostly younger and stuff, and you like to do stuff that affect mostly kids because that's where you have the biggest impact as a hockey player, is with kids, and especially young kids that are sick.
George Laraque, staying somewhat loyal to his Oiler roots. The Edmonton charity, but of course now with the Phoenix Coyotes.
There's the blinds, Blake. 500 for the small, 1,000 for the big.
Too early for that, even though I know you missed.
The analysis of the hustler.
All right, I'm going to get a little belligerent here. Let's raise it up.
Raise of
Belligerent with a
3,000.
pair of twos, mind you.
That's pretty.
Folds.
I don't know how you
It's
do that.
2,500. Want to call?
It's the only thing you could do right there is go all in because there's no way I can, unless I got a jack, I'm not going to call. It's too early. I got all this.
2,100.
Now there is a smart play from Brash.
I don't know. Just because
He looked hesitant. He was worried. Oh, okay, I'll just call it.
good bet though.
With
the
the pair of
bullets.
aces.
Good bet.
Yeah, you ran me pretty good.
4, 5, 6 on the table.
Wow.
Check her back.
All of a sudden, Connolly's close to his straight, as is Bryan McCabe.
Check her back.
And
everybody
I raised
very
you on the
much in this
flop,
hand.
too. When you bet 2,000 on the flop, and I only had a pair of 4s, and I made it 5,000, and then you called.
It's open-ended for McCabe as well.
I'm going to try it one more time.
Connolly living in the
5,000.
past,
5,000 back.
hoping he can rewrite history a little bit.
Whether Brashear realizes it or not, he's got all the right body language for what he's holding there. He hesitated, he waited, but he's sitting with beautiful pocket pairs.
Really do.
Throughout this tournament, we've seen the Pocket Rockets pay dividends. But with that flop, hard to say if it will this time. 10 of spades. Right now, the two aces doing just fine. A 3 on the river changes everything.
Conley's trying to see if he can get any read on Brashear. He's not sure. I mean, he likes his twos, but again, like he said before, he folded a pair of 4s earlier. What's he going to do with a pair of deuces?
And it's a queen of spades on the river, so nothing doing for Tim Connolly. He has to think Donald Brashear is something.
Oh, and Brash is already counting. Like he's already seeing how much he's going to put in.
5,000.
That could be the scare-off bet right there.
Just because he bluffed me doesn't mean you can. I haven't called yet. I'm just counting them out.
The only difference is
And I knew
Brashear's not bluffing.
And I knew he was bluffing too.
But I don't know if
That's why
you're
I raised you on
bluffing.
that flop.
Yeah. I should have worn my shades.
All right.
Call.
Jesus.
Two
Does everybody have
mistakes.
aces against me?
It works again. The two aces prove to be
Seat 1 wins.
a formidable pair
Right,
off the draw. Donald
Yeah,
Brashear
give
gets
him
a
aces
much
now.
needed win. He's been lagging behind
give me
throughout this
nothing, man.
semifinal round.
I think that's the first big mistake we've seen from Conley, actually. He folded the 4s against Laraque, and he stayed with a pair of deuces. against someone who was betting.
You bet out 2,000 like right away. And then
So tempting, waiting for that 3. Charity being supported through this tournament by Donald Brashear, the NHLPA Goals and Dreams Fund, which outfits grassroots hockey programs for underprivileged kids, providing hockey gear, coaches, and ice time. More poker next. We're into the late going here on our semifinal. 4 players remain at the table, all hoping for a spot in the final where $20,000 will go to the charity of choice for the winner. There's the chip board right now. George Laraque of the Phoenix Coyotes comfortably in front. Bryan McCabe of the Leafs now into second place.
Shows you how good I am at poker.
You know, that's good positioning for Laraque, especially with Connolly sitting at the table.
1,000 to call.
I think coming out of the preliminary round, Connolly showed to be the most, if not experienced, most savvy of everybody.
Oof. Ace King for Brash.
Big slick!
Re-raise.
Big slick again!
This should be interesting.
4.
Re-raise of
I'm
4,000.
going to fold.
6,500 more to call. 6,000.
Connolly needs a breather.
I can't believe I'm doing that.
This is like poker with the boys in the basement.
Huh?
Can you believe I'm throwing this away?
You would.
7,000 though.
Yeah.
If I had as many chips as you, I don't know.
Call.
I'm running out of
2%,
green.
1%. Look at that.
That doesn't add up, does it?
No.
High chance of a split pot with those 2 cards, obviously.
So what
Check or bet.
It's down. Guaranteed split pot.
Bet is 4,000.
Brash looks at his stack now. Does he stay with him?
One of these 2 guys is going to have to shake the other loose.
Look at McCabe buying the chips. Brashear puts it back and throws them away. He got a feeling he didn't like it.
We'll get rid of 1.
Re-raise? Can't call though with the re-raise 7,000.
Better than that.
And you're out of position. You
McCabe showed him.
Yeah.
Said better than that, and there was...
He lied. He said nope.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't want to come clean.
There's the blinds, Blake. 1,000 now and 2,000 for the big.
I just won 5 in that.
Yeah. I was hoping that they had high cards. I don't know.
6 and a queen for George Laraque.
He doesn't like that. He'll throw them away. So will Brash.
If you got aces, just let's get it over with right away.
I'll raise.
Come on.
There's a king-jack suited for McCabe. And he goes for the raise.
4,000.
You know, the Sabres and Leafs play each other a lot.
So I'll play you up.
I wonder if Connolly's ever gone one-on-one with McCabe before on the ice.
Oh, I got my favorite hand.
Queen-jack suited as well.
Number.
Very interesting. Very close, obviously.
Pocket jacks. Re-raise or...
Oh, leading him astray.
Yeah, McCabe's not going to fall for that, though.
But how do you back it up? You've got to back it up now after all that talk. Connolly does come in.
Check
or bet, please.
King 6-3. Changing a little.
That's good for McCabe. He liked that flop. That's an aggressive bet.
Pair of kings for Bryan McCabe. Connolly has questions.
Another 8,000.
Wow. Wow, this is not what we've been accustomed to from Connolly, is it,
Not
Blake?
at all.
No.
He doesn't have the cards.
Nor the chips, actually, because look at the stack of greens McCabe's holding on to. He can back this up, and he can back it up with something as well. And that something is the pair of kings.
Here's the turn. 2 of hearts. Bryan McCabe's hand to lose.
Another smart move by McCabe. He checks it right over, which means if Connolly has the hand, He's got to come back big again.
I can't imagine anything scaring Bryan McCabe off right now. I think he's very confident with what he has. Although all this chip stacking is unnerving.
Connolly doesn't want to do this, and he's forced to.
10,000.
10,000 a call.
What does that do to McCabe?
And that was not a confident 10,000 bet. He did not make that bet with confidence. It was hesitant.
The darting
and McCabe
eyes.
knows it. He's going through all the possibilities of what could he have there that could be better than the Kings right now. And it can only be what sat in his pocket. But he knows that the betting didn't resemble anything high.
Call.
Calls it. Confidently as well.
Good play. We'll see one more for kicks and giggles. Comes an 8 of spades.
He checks him right back again.
All in.
All in for Tim Connolly with nothing in hand and no chance of anything other than scaring Bryan McCabe off the pot just under 50,000.
And he's thinking all in on what? On the 8 now?
You got to call.
Sure he does.
Call. I'm out.
McCabe calls and Connolly sheepishly admits what he had, which was nothing. Bryan McCabe wins and knocks out the guy we thought was going to be the shark at this table.
Yeah, the hustler. I mean, this guy played a fantastic early round, and then he completely changed his style, became somewhat reckless, bluffing. This was not the Connolly we saw in the opening round.
Good game.
Ultimately, the downfall for the guy that came with such a reputation into this tournament, and he is the first man out in our first semifinal. Tim Connolly, what happened?
After I called 10 grand.
I don't know what I was thinking there. There's really no need for me to bet, but I was just hoping he didn't have a king. A king came on the flop, and I was just hoping he didn't have one, and he ended up having one, so I'm going home early.
Connolly, our first to leave the semifinal, but not empty-handed. $5,000 going to the Golisano Children's Hospital in Syracuse. Lots more to come on the PartyPoker.net Charity Faceoff.
Playing small.
Our semifinal round continues from Montreal. 3 players at the table now, all wanting the big win that will give them the advantage of more chips heading to the final table. Bryan McCabe has that slim upper hand right now from the Toronto Maple Leafs over George Laraque of the Phoenix Coyotes.
Only 3,000 difference between the two of them, and the blinds now up 2,000 for the small, 4,000 for the big, and a big upset seeing Connolly being the first one to leave this table.
Donald Brashear trailing by more than 50,000 on the board right now.
But at least he's not playing reckless.
Call.
Option. Option.
All.
Wow, fish hooks here for Brashear, and he goes all in.
And we mentioned the chip gap. He really needs a big win.
Georgie, all you, bud.
Well, McCabe gets out of the way. He's smart enough to realize these two guys will battle it out.
And Brashear on the brink.
You like that all in.
He gives it to him in both languages.
Cool.
Wow, he calls him.
Yeah.
That's an aggressive play. And let me tell you why. Let me explain to you why this is aggressive. He's head to head, and it's ace high. He's trying to get him out now.
Brashear on the brink. The pair of jacks. Here comes the flop. Queen of hearts on top. 5 of spades, 10 of spades. Doesn't change anything. Brashear clinging to life.
He needs an ace.
Straight, man.
King on the turn. Still nothing for Laraque. Brashear will live. 6 of spades.
Good end. How much?
Wow.
Seat one.
61,000 going Donald Brashear's way.
That is a big win, Blake, for Brashear. A big win, an aggressive bet, all in. Laraque really had no choice. He had to call him on that. He really had no choice going head-to-head, ace high. He went for it, and he didn't turn for him.
When you fold the aces.
The stacks in front of George Laraque significantly smaller.
And that was a good win for Brashear. He really went for it. He was aggressive in the bet, and it paid dividends.
The two guys at the end of the tables exchanging rolls. Now Laraque fighting for his life.
Ooh, look at that.
Wow.
Again. Snowman for Brashear.
Call.
Doesn't want to show too much. Nice little call early.
2,000.
I'll raise.
McCabe, ace, queen, and the raise.
Another 5.
All in.
Laraque all
Wow.
in with his 8-7. We mentioned exchanging rolls with Donald Brashear. Very similar strategy.
And Brashear's smart. I mean, he just takes his snowman, says, see you, slides down the ski hill, gets out of the way. Smart move from Brash.
McCabe versus Laraque, heads up now. And the ace-queen looking tasty at the moment.
Paint. Show me paint.
2, 5, and a 3 on the flop.
You think Laraque's already regretting going all in with that?
We now have another club appearing, though.
Close.
Now Laraque clinging to the hope of yet another coming down the river. He won't get that. Jack of diamonds. The win goes to Bryan McCabe. George Laraque eliminated from this semifinal table.
And we're on, bud, to the finals.
They are indeed. Bryan McCabe and Donald Brashear head off to the finals. They play for the bigger chip stack in front of them. George Laraque, our second casualty in the semifinal.
Donald took a bunch of my chip and big hand that he had there and stuff, and I really thought I had him. I thought he was bluffing. And after that, just try to get back in the game. And by the blinds being so high with Bryan at the end, I had to pretty much have to make a move because I couldn't afford to lose that big blind. And lost 2 big hands in a row, and that was it.
Still a winner, though. $5,000 headed towards the Stollery Children's Hospital in Edmonton. Bryan McCabe of the Leafs, Donald Brashear of the Capitals face off when we return. You are watching the PartyPoker.net Charity Faceoff. Brought to you by PartyPoker.net, the world's largest poker school, and with special thanks to the National Hockey League Players Association. Here's how the chips have landed thus far. Bryan McCabe holds a significant lead over Donald Brashear right now, 134,000 to 66. George Laraque of the Coyotes, Tim Connolly of the Sabres are long gone now.
And this has been an upset table. The favorite, Tim Connolly, out first. Laraque, who was the chip leader, out second. And the blinds now are up to 2,000 and 4,000.
Bryan McCabe and Donald Brashear playing for an upper hand in the final now. 60,000 in chips will be in front of the winner of this table. 40,000 for the runner-up.
King, queen suited. Not a bad way to start this.
These two have been a couple of pensive players throughout the tournament.
Call.
Ace, 8, deuce.
Both stone-faced right now. Ooh, pair of 5s on the flop along with the 7.
Check her back, please.
Third diamond in there as well. For Bryan McCabe, that is. Second for Brashear.
15.
That check tells McCabe that Brash doesn't have much there. Yeah,
Quickly
throws him
over.
away.
And as the blinds escalate, little wins like that for McCabe are going to whittle down the stacks in front of Brash quite quickly.
Brashear's smart, though. He wasn't erratic. Look at that chip pile in front of McCabe. But look at all those green ones as well, though, for Brashear. And they're 1,000 apiece.
Still some life there, but he needs to make up some ground quickly with a couple of big pots.
Ace 7 suited.
I'll raise. 4.
4,000.
Raise 4.
That's a smart bet. Conservative bet just to lure him in. King 3.
Tempting enough, you would think. Indeed it is.
Cool.
Both these guys have been really focused on the task at hand.
Quite deliberate in their play. Here comes an ace, an 8, and a 4.
Check her bet, please.
Obviously, 2 bullets now for McCabe.
4,000 to call.
Brashear has to be a little wary of that, seeing it appear on the flop.
Important how McCabe bets here.
Another 4.
No, throws him away again.
Another one of those little wins for McCabe.
And again, playing the cards. You know, both these guys are playing their cards.
And I said little. Probably quick is the better word.
Yeah.
Because the blinds now are making those pots big rather quickly.
Yes. Yeah, I moved it. Yeah.
These two players playing for the right to have 60,000 chips in front of them on the final table.
Enough.
Maxime Talbot of the Penguins, Brad May of the Avalanche, Sheldon Souray of the Canadiens, and Michael Cammalleri in the other semifinal, awaiting their chance to get into the final.
Very important here. Brash deliberate once again. Ace deuce. The ace is nice. The deuce could be a lot better.
Call.
He'll just call it.
Thank you.
7-5 suited for McCabe.
Here comes the flop.
Advantage ace, and there's another one.
Check her bet, please. Check 2.
Brash again, not showing too much. Conservative. Keeps McCabe interested.
4,000 to call.
These players so serious, it bears reminding they're not playing to line their own pockets. This is all for the benefit of charity.
I was just going to say, like, they're playing with their own money here.
Instead, $100,000 put up by PartyPoker.net for the benefit of charities.
There's
and
the 2.
A straight there for
Ace,
McCabe.
2, 3, 4, 5.
But 2 pair now also for Donald Brashear. Something in the offing for him, perhaps down the river.
Wow.
But how can McCabe think that he has anything but the winning hand?
Or at least good enough to put a sizable bet. And here it comes.
8.
Now Brash's got 2 pair. Ace deuce.
He feels good
He's
too.
going to just call it.
He needs to see another card.
And he'd love to see a deuce or an ace again.
Wouldn't he though? Here it comes. Won't get it. Jack of spades. The straight lives.
Bet. Another 10.
The bets have been 4, 8, and now 10. And Brashear follows.
He'll turn him over and be very disappointed by what he sees. A straight for Bryan McCabe, another win. And my, oh my, just one tower in front of Donald Brashear left now.
But you know what, Blake? He had to play that. Again, it's a case of you have to live or die with the cards you had. And he had to go with it. I mean, he has the 2 pairs, 2 aces, the deuce. He had to go with it. At that point, he couldn't back out. Too much was gone at that point.
And we are getting down to the nitty-gritty here. How much longer can Donald Brashear hang on? It would seem a foregone conclusion. He will be the guy with 40,000 in chips in front of him in the final. We'll see if that indeed holds true. The blinds.
4,008. Yeah. Ace 5 again. So that means he's got to stay in again. Although he'd have loved a higher kicker. McCabe certainly has the chips in front of him, and he's got the cards in front of him.
And he's signed awfully hard for a guy with that chip pile in front of him as well.
How much does Donald got there? I'll put him, I'll raise, put him all in. Whatever he's got there.
Smart move. McCabe putting Donald Brashear all in. Wants to end this here and now.
Call.
He has the kicker.
There we go.
to back it up.
Oh, Donald. Got the kicker.
Big 5.
Here's hoping for a small card.
Ooh, one small in there, not the one he wanted,
Ace.
though. An 8 doesn't help him either.
He needs the nickel.
Is it coming down the river? It is not.
Three,
It's
it
a
is
3
not.
of hearts.
I'm going to finals.
Bryan McCabe and Donald Brashear are both off to the final. One man will have a distinct advantage. Bryan McCabe, the winner of this table with the last pot there, up at 28,000. He now will have 60,000 in chips in front of him for the final. Donald Brashear will try to come from behind with just 40,000 in chips in front of him. That all despite a pretty valiant effort from Donald Brashear in that final hand.
Well, I didn't really have lots of chips left, so he put me all in, and we both had aces. He had the bigger kicker. There wasn't much I could do on that.
As for Bryan McCabe, steady, patient player, that his secret to winning this semifinal?
I don't really play that often. Like I said, we don't really play this game on our plane trips with the Leafs, but I got lucky, caught some good cards today. I caught a big pot when Timmy tried to bluff, and I caught kings, so it worked out pretty well.
Bryan McCabe and Donald Brashear both advance and continue their chase of the $20,000 winner's check for their charities. For Russ Amber, I'm Blake Price at the PartyPoker.net Charity Faceoff. So long from Montreal.